Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Syafiq Mushofa. Here I will read a journal entitled The Vital Necessity of Critical Education Policy Research. The writer Michael DeYoung from University of California, Berkeley, and Sarah Diem from University of Missouri, and Carrie Sampson, Arizona State University. The need to grapple with realities and tension. In Eupachin's Dharmola's article, Racially Just Policy Change, examining the consequence of black education of imaginaries for K-12 policy. She encourages the integration of theory and action. Dharamola showcases how black radical imaginaries address inequities, including those linked to the school to prison nexus exhibited by school research officer (SRO), proposing solutions that make seem unconventional and beyond the status quo. Dharamola demonstrates the tension involved in families' attempts to rightfully seek forgive space outside of school of youth abolition effort to push for reforms within school. Although the parents saw themselves as working on critical education issue, public education advocates and teacher unions reviewed their effort as in line with effort to dismantle public schooling, which leaves many of our most vulnerable children and families without access to quality neighborhood schools or forgiving space. Families are caught in the crosshair of a neoliberal policy agenda where no choice is acceptable. Dharamola's article effectively illustrates the potential of black educational imaginaries is in creating black forgive space. Yet, as the author acknowledges, there is room for a more thought exploration of tension within the neoliberal agendas embraced by this black activist group. This elimination, possibly influenced by the COVID-19 pandemic and the convenience on and the convenience of Zoom interviews, many have hindered and deepened examination of the contextual roots and of policy development, implementation, and thus consequence of this organization. For instance, a deeper analysis of the microschool model, its connection to companies like Prenda adopted by one of the black organization, or an examine of the organization political engagement in sporting school choice the policies may have default units consequence that merit consider that merit consideration with organization pure forgive space such as the such as those the Danamola described. In their article, recommendation reform a critical race and critical policies analysis of research recommendation about school resource official, Zabala AC4 et al. Examine policy recommendation related to SROs included in peer-reviewed research articles highlighting disturbing trends. The strands include both the presence of misalignment between evidence and policy recommendation and the absence of policy recommendation altogether. Although policymakers and practitioners may not read peer-reviewed journal for many reasons, assuming they do, their focus is likely to center on the policy recommendation consequently. Scholars, especially CPS scholars, must approach their section seriously, argue them with findings, and challenge the status quo by offering policy recommendations grounded in critical theories as implemented by the authors in this special issue. Well, there are a number of reasons why authors say away from providing policy recommendation from contraction from from constraints such as journal page limit to the psychology tool involved in framing policy recommendation that comprehensively counter status quo practice. What is what is left unsaid in journal article can be just as powerful as what inside. Furthermore, absent definitional, generalized, and miscellaneous policy recommendation, general appeal to the status quo, which favor reforms that are seemingly more feasible or practical over ones that appear too radical and unrealistic to the politician of a topic. The author also found few articles that offer recommendations grounded in abolition theory, indicating that those scholars who study SROs may be using less critical theories to guide the research and the development of finding and implication. These findings demonstrate the vital need to value of CPI scholarship and suggest an opportunity for future research and SROs as more educational scholars access critical theories from other disciplines, such as abolition theory. We must ensure that our work does not just critique system of injustice, and we must be willing to offer concrete solutions to the problem that we are studying. Furthermore, our recommendations not only align with the evidence we find, but the willing to offer alternatives that truly address educational inequities and injustice. That said, the author could have grappled more with what it means to support an abolition its agenda in an era of increasing school shooting that are also putting minoritized children in harm's way. These attention are crucial because they reflect discussion happening on the ground among policymakers, education leaders, families, and youth as they trying to proactively counter the culture of school shooting, often perceived as challenging without the presence of policy, particularly as nursing law reforms has been repeated through. Thank you very much, and then Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.